Bill Goldberg, thank you very much for joining me, mate. Have you been watching Drew's run as WWE champion? If you have, over the last year, how do you think he's done?
I haven't watched all of it, but I have been attentive, no question. Even though I've been away, you need to check in and make sure that your product is being represented by the right people. And I'm a fan of Drew's. I appreciate what he's done. I appreciate the long road to his success that he's traveled. My question though is he ready? And we're not going to know until he steps in the ring with me.
Can we expect any surprises in your strategy? I mean, is there any way you change things up to maybe to face Drew this Monday in Australia?
I don't think you're going to get any surprises. That's if you're a logical human being, understanding what Drew's his strengths are and where I need to put chinks in his armor so that I can destroy him. I think that if you look at breaking down an opponent logically, no one will be surprised as to what I do.
Nowadays, WWE forever, I guess WWE superstars have all come from all different varieties of places. Like yourself, you came from football, MMA, powerlifting, even American Ninja now in the NXT. Do you think there's an advantage for those guys coming from a competitive sport into the world of professional wrestling?
1,000%, yes. There is no question that it gives you an edge, whether it be on the mic or whether it be athletically performing your craft, your newfound craft. You have quite obviously a physical advantage, depending upon where you're coming from, because you wouldn't have been tabbed, quote unquote, a professional athlete if not. It does not, you cannot get by faking it as a professional athlete. It does not work like that. You are always asked to perform a job, and if you do not do it, you do not cut it. So also being a professional athlete, you learn how to deal with the media. You have the ability to deal with any situation, because I mean, playing in the NFL, you were on live TV. It is what it is, and so you do have an advantage. There's no question about it. And anybody who would tell me any differently is a moron.
Are there any current stars, the sports stars, that you think could make the leap into WWE?
There are many out there. I think they could cross over. It's do they want to? I think the ones that I think could do it have never been brought up in the conversation. I think professional football players are the number one hotbed of talent to make the transition. I really do. And I say that not as an ex-professional football player, but I say that as a realist, knowing what they go through, knowing their work ethic, knowing their attention to detail, knowing they're savvy with the PR. Rugby might be the next one in line.
Outside of WWE, you've done a bit of TV and a bit of film. Is that something you're sort of looking to get into more into the future?
I always like to tell people that I'm a competitor, not a performer. And I never aspired to be a television star, a movie star, anything like that. That's not in my plans by any means. I enjoy it. Being on the Goldbergs, being on NCIS, we've got a new show being developed right now. A series, an action series, and then there's a car show we're talking about what network that's going to go on. But I like doing things that I enjoy. Doing a series based upon like an A team and me being the leader of it. I mean, that's right up my alley. Doing a car show, racing across the country or racing against four American versus imports, anything to do with automobiles, that's what I love to do. Do I aspire to be that guy on TV? Not at all. But I aspire to continue my love of the automobile. And if that brings me a job to hosting something on television, I'll do it in 2 seconds. I'd love to. But as far as doing something, a far departure from my normal everyday life anymore, I don't know if I would invest the time and or effort into doing something like that. So going away and doing a 6-8 month movie role, I don't know if I ever wanted to do that, to be honest. But I don't foresee that as my future.
The 18 would be cool. 18 is a massive favorite of mine. So Steve Austin has spoken about you recently, saying that that you guys have been, or he'd been confused for you at airports back in the day. Is that something that happened to you? Did you ever have people coming up to you calling you Stone Cold?
Well, firstly, he should be flattered because I'm a hell of a lot better looking than he is. But it used to really piss both of us off. And we've talked about this exponentially because I like to say we're pretty good friends. But I always took it personally, and it made me mad because Steve Austin's like 250 and I was 285, 290. So I thought that if they thought I was Steve, then they thought I was small, right? And for a guy who's a defensive lineman who walks around trying to be as big as he can be, I took that as a slight, not because they thought I was Steve Austin, the awesome wrestler, but because I was small, right? So there's another layer to it. But throughout the years, we used to both get really pissed off. Now I think it's hilarious. And we actually try to bring it up to each other when it happens. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, Austin v Goldberg is one of those dream matches that never happened. Is that something that you sort of look back on and wish that had have happened?
Oh my God, I wouldn't be living and breathing if I didn't make that statement. There was no other match for my sake that needed to happen more so than that one. It was a timing issue. It was just a timing issue and an injury issue. And I love him exponentially, man. He's a great dude. And to have graced the ring with him, in a match would have been absolutely phenomenal.
Are there any of the younger talent in WWE at the moment that you look at and go, this guy or girl is going to be a massive superstar in the future?
Well, I mean, the usual suspects. I mean, I do believe that, a Drew McIntyre, a Keith Lee, and a Ricochet. And I mean, I've always been a Finn Balor. I've always been a huge fan of his. So, I mean, I'd have to say those four, are the future. There's no question about it. And in my opinion, and what do I know?
Now, all things going well for you, and you walk out of Monday in Australia as the WWE champion. Who do you want to win the Royal Rumble to face you at WrestleMania?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I'm going to plead the fifth and just say I don't care. It doesn't matter because I got to get through Drew first. And right now he's the only one on my mind. I'm not looking past him for 1 second because he deserves the respect, from a guy like me. He really does. And so I hope that I can conquer him absolutely. And whoever the opponent is that wins the Rumble, that gets to compete against the champion on the 11th or the 12th. I mean, it's going to be a wonderful fight, whoever it is. But I got to kick Drew's ass first.
Best of luck for this Monday here in Australia at the Royal Rumble. Bill Goldberg, thank you for joining us here at Wrestle Radio Australia.